Long before there was a sun, there was silence. A vast cloud of gas and dust drifted through the galaxy, the leftover remains of stars that had lived and died long before. For millions of years, it simply hung there in the dark, cold, and quiet, spread out across a region of space wider than our entire solar system is today. It was mostly hydrogen, the simplest element in the universe, mixed with a little helium and a scattering of heavier elements forged inside those earlier, dying stars. Nothing about it looked like it was about to become anything at all, and something disturbed it. Maybe it was the shock wave from a nearby supernova, a dying star's final explosion, sending a wave of pressure rippling through the cloud. Maybe it was simply the slow pull of gravity from a passing region of denser space. Whatever the trigger, the cloud began to change. Small pockets within it started to grow slightly denser than their surroundings. And once that happened, gravity took over. Gravity is patient, but it is relentless. Denser pockets pulled in more gas. More gas made them denser still. Slowly, then faster, one region near the center of the cloud began to collapse in on itself. As it shrank, something remarkable happened. The cloud started to spin. It had always carried the faintest trace of rotation, far too small to notice. But as the material fell inward, that rotation had to speed up, the same way a spinning skater pulls their arms in and suddenly twirls faster. The collapsing cloud began to whirl. That spin changed everything. The material couldn't just fall straight into the center anymore. Instead, it flattened out, spreading into a wide, swirling disk with a dense, glowing clump forming right at its heart. That clump was growing hotter by the day, crushed under the weight of everything falling onto it. It was no longer just a cloud. It was a protostar, a star in waiting. For roughly 100,000 years, that protostar kept feeding, pulling in more and more of the surrounding disk, growing denser and hotter at its core. Deep inside, temperatures climbed past 1,000,000 degrees, then 10 million. At that threshold, something extraordinary began. Hydrogen atoms, crushed together with enough force and heat, started fusing into helium. Nuclear fusion had ignited. In that instant, our sun was born. Fusion released an almost unimaginable amount of energy, and that energy pushed outward, fighting back against the crushing pull of gravity. A newborn star is really the result of a standoff. Gravity trying to crush it into oblivion, fusion pushing back just hard enough to hold it in a stable balance. That balance is what would let the sun burn steadily for billions of years to come, rather than collapsing or blowing itself apart. But the story wasn't finished. Around the young sun, the leftover disk of gas and dust was still spinning, still swirling. Tiny grains of dust began to stick together, forming pebbles. Pebbles collided and merged into boulders. Boulders kept colliding, growing larger and larger, until some of them became the size of small moons. Their gravity began pulling in even more material, sweeping their orbits clean. Over tens of millions of years, this process built the planets, rocky worlds close to the sun's heat, and massive gas giants further out where it was cold enough for ice to survive. One of those rocky worlds, the third one out from the new star, was Earth. Today, that same sun still burns at the center of our solar system, fusing hydrogen into helium in its core at a staggering rate, releasing the light and heat that makes life on Earth possible. It's roughly 4.5 billion years old now, which puts it just about halfway through its expected lifetime as a hydrogen-burning star. It will keep shining steadily for billions of years still to come. But nothing burns forever. One day, billions of years from now, the hydrogen fuel in the sun's core will begin to run low, and the delicate balance that has held it steady since the moment it ignited will start to shift. What happens next is a story for another time. While black holes dominate deep space with invisible gravity, our sun protects us with an invisible shield of its own. Deep inside the sun's core, the churning of superheated plasma acts like a colossal electric generator, creating a massive magnetic field. This field stretches far beyond the planets, forming a giant magnetic bubble called the heliosphere. The heliosphere is Earth's ultimate armor. It acts as a cosmic shield, deflecting deadly, high-energy cosmic rays flying toward us from deep space and exploding supernovas. Without this protective magnetic bubble constantly fighting back against the radiation of the Milky Way, life on Earth would be completely impossible. Our sun is not just our light source. It is our active guardian. But no shield lasts forever. In about 5 billion years, the stable standoff between gravity and fusion inside our sun will finally break. The hydrogen fuel at the core will run out. Without fusion pushing outward, the core will collapse, heating up violently until it begins fusing helium. This sudden burst of energy will cause the outer layers of the sun to swell up drastically. It will transform into a terrifying, glowing red giant star. The expanding sun will swallow Mercury, incinerate Venus, and turn Earth into a scorched, molten rock. But this isn't a violent explosion like a black hole's birth. Instead, the sun will gently shed its outer layers into space, creating a beautiful, colorful planetary nebula. Left behind at the center will be a lonely, cooling core called a white dwarf, a peaceful, glowing ember marking the spot where a magnificent solar system once thrived. It's wild to think about. The very same cosmic dust that floated in total silence billions of years ago is what makes up the sun, the Earth, and even us. We are quite literally made of stardust, living out our lives on a rock shielded by a star, floating next to the universe's ultimate monsters. I hope that the next time you look up at the night sky, you see it a little differently. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next cosmic journey.